This video is sponsored by Alcid eHomes, whose mission it is to accelerate the advent of sustainable, healthy living systems around the world. Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So I would really like to get your help to understand what is going on here in Europe, because Tesla's lead here is kind of crazy. Even me, the Tesla fanboy, has a hard time understanding exactly why. Well, that is not entirely true, of course, I get it. Why people would choose a Tesla over the competition, because no one else offers what Tesla has. But I also know a lot about the charging speed of EVs, the battery size, the range, the charging network, and so on and so on and so on. But do normal, non-Tesla nerds really know this kind of stuff? Or is there a different reason to why Tesla is still beating all of the competition like they weren't even there? I have a theory, but I would really like to know what you think about this. So let's check it out and let's dive right in. So the Tesla Model Y has just launched in Europe, and just after 1 week it looks like the Model Y could become a new all-dominating force. I will use Norway in this example because we have the numbers from Norway from August already, but most other countries in Europe we still don't have the sales data from. But Norway is also a real EV country. This is pretty much what they buy, and they have pretty much all the EV models there. So I also think this is a very good place to see how it will look in the rest of Europe as well. And I will be using prices from Denmark because this is where I have all the numbers, and in the US you don't have all these EVs yet, so I can't find the prices from over there. But again, it is not so much about the price, but more about the difference between the prices, and I will write the dollar price on the screen for you as well. So just remember that cars are much more expensive here than they are in the US. So let's start with the mind-boggling fact that the Model Y has only been sold in 7 days in August in Norway, but ended up the best-selling EV in Norway in August. What even is this? You know, if we look at the chart of accumulated sales from the Q4 e-tron that started deliveries in May, you see this nice steep curve here, getting to over 1,000 deliveries. But the Model Y just looks like this. A dot, starting at almost 1,300 deliveries in 7 days. This is just unheard of. This is nuts. But even more crazy is that in just 7 days, the Tesla Model Y has become a top 20 selling EV in Norway year to date. The others have had 8 months or 7 months or 3 months, and the Tesla Model Y have had 7 days. This is nuts. So I have no doubt that the Model Y will become one of the absolute best-selling EVs in Norway and Europe this year. And I understand why people like this car. You get a decent range, also decent range in cold weather because of the octavalve and heat pump and all this good stuff. You get the best charging speed on the market with up to 120 kilometers of range in just 5 minutes. You will have a 700-liter trunk space and a frunk that has about 150 liters. You just have so much space in this car, and you get the best navigation system in the world, and in my opinion also the best infotainment system, and of course access to the best charging network in the world, and it will all just get even better down the road with over-the-air update. This is simply just the perfect family electric car, but does everyone really know all of this? Because even good old Mark B. Spiegel, Mr. BS, said Audi would come with their Q4 e-tron, and that would just destroy Tesla's sales in Europe together with all the others. And when I saw the range of the Audi EQ4 and the price, I thought that would sell really well. But it has been out in Norway since May, so 3 months, but has just been beaten by the Model Y year to date, which has only been out for 7 days. And the Audi Q4 e-tron is actually much cheaper than the Model Y. It has pretty much the same range as the Model Y. Why does this not sell better? And if we look at these 11 countries in Europe, the Audi Q4 e-tron has only sold about 3,200 units, compared to the Tesla Model 3 that has sold over 51,000 year to date. Okay, it has been there for the whole year, but then just look at Q2, 3 months with the Model 3, and it has sold almost 25,000, compared to Q4 e-trons 3,200. Or the Ioniq 5, which has a decent range of 480 WLTP, but charges fast with up to 100 kilometers in just 5 minutes, has about 350 liters trunk, a lot of power outlets in the car to charge whatever, and even though it looks like a little hatchback, it's actually quite a big car. It is bigger than Hyundai's own SUV, the Tucson. So all in all, a great EV right here that has also been out since May, but has also only sold about 3,500 in all of Europe year to date. Again, not even comparable to the Tesla Model 3 sales in Europe, even though the Model 3 is more expensive than the Ioniq 5's starting price. Or the Polestar 2 that has been here the whole year and is a great electric car at about the same price point as the Tesla Model 3, but the Tesla Model 3 sold about 7 times more cars in Europe than the Polestar 2. But again, you can get an Audi electric car, the Q4, for less than the Model 3. An Audi. Why isn't this car selling any better? Well, I think maybe Tesla has changed the way people are looking at cars in generally, not just looking at range and price. Maybe people are also getting a little tired of the way the dealerships are doing this, because yes, the Q4 e-trons start at about 350,000 Danish crowns, so that looks great. Audi, of course, does what all the other legacy automakers do, making a really crappy model that nobody wants to buy, but it will give the car a great starting price, like the Q4 here. The one with the lowest starting price only has 334 kilometers WLTP range, a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in only 9 seconds. It will have no navigation, no automatic trunk, no backup camera, no smartphone interface, no parking help, no USB charging plugs in the back seats, and so on and so on and so on. Not what you would expect when buying an Audi. But don't worry, they of course have 6 different models you can choose from, and the Attitude Edition has a little bit more of all these extra equipment, but they are of course also a lot more expensive. But don't worry, you can get the Audi experience with all their great tech, because they have 8 pages of add-ons you can make. So you can easily make this car $10,000 or $20,000 more expensive if you want it all. And of course, you have to go through 8 pages of add-ons and try to understand what it all means and find the things that you want, like automatic trunk or extra safety features or other small stuff like that. Or you can spend 1 minute on Tesla's website and see the exact price and specs you will get. But with the Audi, you go into the dealership with an expectation of 350,000 Danish crowns and come out with an offer of 550,000 Danish crowns, and is very disappointed. So this is just one thing I think that Tesla has changed, why they made the experience of buying a car a joy, where it's still hell on earth with the dealerships. But maybe I am also underestimating how much people actually get into the details when they are about to buy an EV for the first time, because it is a very big purchase. Because if you take a closer look at the Q4 e-tron, yes, it does have a decent range, not as good as the Tesla Model 3, but just the same as the Model Y long range. But charging speed is only 125 kilowatts, so half of Tesla's. It will get 130 kilometers in 10 minutes. Tesla's will get 120 kilometers in 5 minutes. If people know this, I think this will matter for many people. The same thing goes for the other EVs that Mr. BS was talking about, the BMW iX3. It has a little bit worse range than the Audi, but can only charge 90 kilometers in 10 minutes. But what about the Ioniq 5? It gets 100 kilometers in just 5 minutes. Why does this not sell as well as a Tesla? Well, the range compared to a Tesla Model 3 is still about 150 kilometers less. I think this also matters, but also we have seen reviews of the car and so on that the 480 kilometers of WLTP range of the Ioniq 5 is in nice warm weather. So in wintertime here in Europe, the range will drop significantly because they don't have Tesla's octovalve and so on. And maybe people also know this kind of stuff and therefore think, yes, it has a decent range, but only in the summertime, not in the winter, and we only charge it from 10 to 80%, so the range is only decent when we charge it to 100%, which we shouldn't do often. So maybe people also know all of this. And then of course the big one, Tesla's charging network is still way superior to anything else out there, as I and Herbert Diess, Volkswagen CEO, just experienced on our summer holidays. And maybe people also know this. And I know someone like Mr. BS still talk about Teslas like they just have a crappy build quality. But this is simply not true. This is no longer the case. I don't really care who you are or what your opinion is about Tesla's build quality, because Sandy Munro is the expert of car experts, and he hated the Model 3 when it first came out, but now he says that the refreshed Model 3 and the Y is as good as anything out of Europe. So if that is Sandy's opinion, that is how it is. And I even just saw a German auto reviewer on YouTube checking out a Model Y, and he also said there's nothing wrong with the build quality, it's simply just perfect. So sorry, but people will not pass on the Model Y or the Model 3 anymore because of build quality. Old news. But again, I really thought there were many Audi fans that would go with whatever EV Audi came out with, and therefore it would get some great sales numbers. But all the competition that Mr. BS was talking about that was coming to Europe and therefore just killing Tesla sales has all come, and nothing is even close to the sales numbers of the Tesla Model 3. And now Tesla has just introduced the Model Y in Europe, and in 7 days it has outperformed every one of these so-called competition in Norway in August that Mr. BS was talking about. Even I thought the competition would do better. I have always said it will not hurt Tesla, but I thought the competition would be at least a little more, competition. But I also think there is one more thing to the puzzle and why the other guys are not selling as good as Tesla. I think it is kind of the same thing we have seen in China with the ID.4 that is not selling as well as Volkswagen had hoped because the tech is not there. And here in Europe we don't have all the Chinese model yet, but if a person is out trying the Tesla Model 3, feeling that acceleration, seeing that big beautiful screen where you can play games, see Netflix and YouTube with great software and navigation like no other, and on top of that they don't have to go on compromise on range or charging network, it is just the best package by far. And then they get over in an Audi Q4, and not even the slowest model, but the Q4 40 e-tron. It will only do a 0 to 100 kilometers in 8.5 seconds. Even the most expensive and fastest model of the Q4 only does a 0 to 100 kilometers in 6.2 seconds. It is going to feel so boring compared to a Tesla, and then they get into the cockpit that looks like this, like any old ICE car. That will never get any meaningful over-the-air update. It is going to feel like getting a Nokia 3310 in your hands after having just tried out the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I think people are actually also recognizing that Tesla is more than just an electric car, but a computer on wheels. And even though the legacy automakers are trying to make the transition from ICE to EV be as easy for people as possible, and therefore making their car look and feel as much as an ICE car as possible, I think this is a big mistake, because I think people are ready for this next big thing, computers on wheel, and Tesla is showing just how great that can be. So people don't want a dumb EV. They want a smart EV, and they will get that with the Tesla. No compromises and the smartest car on the road. And of course, when someone like Audi really tries to come close to Tesla's performance, that is really when we see that they don't have a chance, like the RS e-tron GT. That is a good looking car though, that has a 0 to 60 as fast as the Model 3 performance, but almost 100 kilometers less range, but very good charging speed, 100 kilometers in just 5 minutes, nice. But these are all Model 3 performance specs, or a little less, but the price of the RS e-tron GT is about 3 times as much as the Model 3. You can get the normal Model S long range that is even faster than the Audi and have 200 kilometers more range and can still charge faster, and after you bought that Model S, well, you still have enough money to buy the Model 3. And the Audi RS e-tron GT cost here in Europe about $30,000 more than the Plaid Model S. And here, there's just no contest. Tesla is able to make a car that can outperform the fastest Audi EV for a third of the price. So here it just gets very obvious how far behind these guys are. But when combining all of this with dealerships that don't want to sell the EVs, and the automakers that cannot produce EVs in high volume, even though Mr. BS also said that was what the legacy automakers could do, but the Tesla Model 3 is still the best-selling EV model by far, even halfway through 2021 here in Europe. That's a fact. The place Mr. BS said Tesla would not be able to grow or dominate with all this competition coming. And yes, all this competition has come. I mean, just look at this list of EVs here in Europe. This is a crazy amount of EV models, but right there at the top, you still find Tesla Model 3 with no real competition in sight. It sells almost twice the amount of the runner-up. And now we have just seen a little glimpse of what's to come with the Model Y in Norway. So all the haters and short sellers talk about the competition here in Europe have just been proven wrong. All these great electric cars has come out, but no one of them is selling even close to what Tesla Model 3 is doing. They are all in competition with each other. But Tesla is just doing its own thing up there in the top. But am I right here? Are these the reasons why the old guys can't really sell anything close to Tesla? Because I'm even surprised by their small sales numbers. Is it because people don't like the dealership model anymore? And people take a deeper dive into all the details before they buy their first EV, and therefore knows that no one comes close to the full package that Tesla offers. And dealerships that don't want to sell their EVs, and that Tesla is the smartphone of cars that makes every other EV feel old, obsolete, and boring to drive. Well, let me know in the comments below. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.